Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We've said before that we have, all of us, things to heal from our past. Traumas, situations, things that even when you were a kid, something might have happened and it's kind of stuck with you all along. You got to work on that. How do you do that? How do you shift your mindset, your energy to focus on habits that heal? We're going to talk about that today and so much more with somebody who is a licensed massage therapist. She's a life coach, a speaker, a cancer survivor, and so much more. And she's back with us. Patti McGee from the Hydrated Life is on the program. Patti, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Steve. Thanks for having me again. This has been awesome. And hope you're doing well.
Yes, thank you so much. And I'm happy we're talking about this because I feel a lot of people know they need to work on themselves,
Yeah.
but they're not sure how to do it or how to get into the mode of working on themselves, essentially pivoting their energy. We put energy into so many different things, even energy into negativity, even energy into writing a nasty text to somebody because you're mad. You've just wasted energy.
Exactly. And that's where we spend most of our time. That's where that's where we spend most of our time. There's so many good things going on out in the world, but we focus on the negative. We have so much more happy things in our life, but we always focus on what the problem is.
I believe it's because we are programmed to be negative since we were kids. I mean, tiny little children.
Yep. Yeah. And that's where all of this stems from, and we are energy beings. We're made of cells, and it's proven that, we're just energy and all combined and held into the skin that we have, this body that we have. And money is energy. When we exchange it, it's just, everything we touch is energy. And think about the food that you eat. When you eat healthy, when you eat your fruits and your vegetables and your proteins, how do you feel versus grabbing breads and pastas? And, it's all that energy and how we exchange it, and how do we create something healthy for us to feel good? And when we're consistent, that's when we get the changes that heal.
You talk about the energy, and a lot of people do think it's kind of woo-woo. Come on, that's really not. Well, it's real. Research it, Google it.
Yeah.
But when we talk about food, some energy healers, for example, people who do Reiki to help others heal, and again, that's just shifting the energy there in terms of where it needs to go from one person to another. Those are people that sometimes Reiki their food to make sure that they're eating is positive energy. And I know some people that do that and also thank the source. So if it came from an animal, they put positive energy into it, and send it back to thank you, for what you contributed to, to sustain my life, my family's life, whatever it might be. But that is putting that positive energy into what you're eating. I mean, you think about it, Patti.
Same with the people that pray over their food.
Yeah.
They're giving that positive energy. So whether you give it to the universe or you give it to God, or it's your belief. So
right.
And you just have to stay in that and know who you are, and that's the beauty of it.
Sure.
But what do we do when we don't know who we are and we can't sustain that energy? Because we all go through this journey of life, the ups and downs, the hills, the valleys. We read it everywhere. Nothing has changed in 2,000 years. Everything's, it just the names have changed and the faces, Yeah,
there are challenges, and whatever the challenges are, our bodies react to it the same way they would have reacted to it 2,000 years ago. And one final point on the food and the energy, and I don't want to get like too, technical or deep here, but with the Reiki of, let's say, a meat dish, gosh forbid the animal wasn't treated well.
Yeah.
That energy that came from the animal in that situation, you're now eating it.
Yeah.
And you don't know it because we don't know the backstory. We like to, think the best, but that's also why some people Reiki or put positive energy
Energy.
on their food because you're ingesting that negative energy.
Energy.
Will,
Yep.
will it make a difference? I don't know. I don't have that answer. I don't know if that's been proven, but
Again, it goes back to your belief.
yeah,
If you use that to help you heal, that's how you're going to heal.
yeah,
Okay. In the Bible, they say Jesus healed people by this, but he always said by your faith, their faith, not by his, yours, mine, whoever. It's by your belief
yes.
on how you want to heal. If you believe you're never going to step into who you want to be, you never are. You just never are. And that's kind of what I'm talking about today. And the first thing is to look at your nakedness, and I don't mean your naked body and each part of it. I mean write down what you've buried inside of you and address it. And some of us, I started this late in life, so I had 50 years worth of stuff that I had to unpack, and some that I'm still unpacking. But it's in that journey that you find yourself. And when you can surrender all of that, your anxieties and your fears, so it doesn't dictate your life, that's when you find the beauty in life again. So we need to, look at the energy and where it's going. And some good questions to ask yourself is, do I get enough sleep? People underrate sleep.
Agreed.
Okay. And it doesn't matter if you're working third shift, first shift, second shift. Okay. Just get your 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Some people need a little less, but that's all where your body heals. You rest and digest at that time. And that's where your energy comes back to you. Okay.
It's so important. And people, Patty, don't realize it until you have to go through stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I went through that. I spent literally decades getting up at 3:45 a.m. to do a morning show and just always nonstop, try and get a nap in during the day, never got enough sleep. Eventually it caught up to me in the form of an ulcer
Yep.
because you can't handle stress. Even if you're, a chill, low-key person, you can't handle the stress of just life, little things that come at you when you don't have enough sleep.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, again, it goes back to what we put into our bodies and our minds, do you have a good work-life play balance? Work kind of has dictated to us over the last few decades.
Yeah.
We need you more. We need you more. Now we have cell phones. Some people carry 2 cell phones with them, one for work, one for home. We're chasing that little red dot that I keep telling you about. And, I refuse to play that game in life. I used to be the stay at work till 2 a.m, trying to figure things out, and that does it go noticed? Yes, but is it unappreciated when the time comes for them to either get rid of you or make changes or something? Then it all goes out the window. And so you have to have that good work-life balance.
It's so true. There is no, I'm sorry, there's no loyalty in jobs anymore. It just,
right.
it is what it is. And here you are putting all of your resources, your energy, your life into something, and you might not get the benefits back. And
right.
we also feel guilty. Yes, we're grateful to have a job, but we also feel guilty that we're not giving even more. Even though you're doing what you should be doing, you're not doing more because you're afraid you might lose that job. But to your point, might be gone tomorrow. Nothing is guaranteed, and there's
nothing.
No guarantee.
There was just a late night host. I don't know his name. He's moving back to London to spend more time with his kids.
James Corden.
Yes. I was reading his story, and it was his son sitting on a Sunday. He's like, "Dad, are you working today?" He goes, "Yeah. I got to finish this, get this done." And he's like, "But it's Sunday." He's like, "I know, bud," and it clicked in him. And he said to his wife, "I only got 10 more years with him before he doesn't want to be around us anymore."
Mm-hmm.
And boom, a lucrative job. I mean, on TV,
Yeah.
Family came first. You have to come first.
That also gets into the thought of how much is enough. Like, people walk around saying, I wish I could win the lottery. That'd be great. Okay. Do you have what you need right now?
Yeah.
Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have enough food? Is life okay? Do you have what you need? And most people would say, yeah, I pretty much do. Do you really need? Yeah, would it be nice? Of course. And looking at James Corden, I'm sure he's amassed a nice bankroll there where he
Yes.
can take a look at it and say, what am I doing this for?
Yep.
We're good. I don't need to keep,
Yep.
I love what I do, but I'm good. I'm gonna tap out right now. It'll be okay.
Yeah. And they will be okay no matter what. And we will too. We don't have to, like you said, have masses in the bank to say that we're not going to be okay.
Right.
Okay. You will be okay. You're 100% in getting up and surviving every day right now because you've done it however old you are.
Great point. Great point.
You've come through everything.
Look at all the challenges in your life. All of us, look at them, even work wise, and think back to those times where you left a job, lost a job, whatever it might be, and maybe you went into, DEFCON 5, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Did it work out?
Yep.
For the most part, it did. Maybe it wasn't easy. Maybe you had to take a job that was a lower salary to get you back up to where you were, but eventually all the stuff does kind of work
It
out.
balances out. Unless you have a mental illness, and I don't want to discount any of that. There's a lot of homeless people out there that are comfortable living homeless because that's their mentality level. Okay. Something has happened to them that we as medical providers can't get through to.
Yes.
So I don't want to discount that. I'm talking about the average person who just is, where do I go next? Struggling to find that happiness, peace, and joy in their life from some trauma that happened to them that they can move forward on if they get the right tools.
Right. Exactly.
So I just didn't want to discount that.
I appreciate that. And I 1000% agree with you.
The next one is, do I harbor or release negative energy quickly? Do you harbor the negative energy or do you release it? I was a harborer until I got the breast cancer. And then there's certain things that still hurt, but it's not a negative energy. It's acknowledging that they hurt, so how quickly can you release that and move on?
Easier said than done. I know we've talked about that before, the power of forgiveness.
Yep.
And not, you don't condone what somebody may have done, but you're just letting it go. And it's not easy.
No, it's not at all. And we get spurts of it because something changes in our lives briefly. But if we don't work through it, it comes back in a cycle all the time.
Interesting thought.
You can be happy for a moment because maybe you met somebody out to eat or, at the bar or church or wherever. But then when they're not around you, then you go back to that old way.
So you're saying you can find situations to deflect or refocus you, divert you.
Divert you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you see yourself being diverted and going back, that's where you've got to come and do this deep work that a life coach can help you with.
Okay, that's where I was going to go with that. When we talk about the tools and the deep work, again,
a therapist, a life coach, depending on what you're looking for, how serious the issue is. When I had deep grief, a life coach wasn't going to help me.
Mm-hmm.
I had to speak. I spoke to my spiritual counselor for that. Okay.
Yeah. And what's interesting, I find when you speak to somebody, whether it's a counselor, a life coach, they give you perspective that you didn't know existed.
Yes.
And it could be an aha moment. Even if you're harboring those negative feelings toward someone or a situation, it might get refocused in a different way where you say, Oh, I didn't really even think of that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And we blame our parents a lot for what they didn't do for us versus what they did. And I went through this. I had to really dig down and really look at my life with my father. And in the end, and I remember Tony Robbins, this sparked this in me. In one of his online seminars, he said this girl was struggling with her father and they didn't talk. And he said, do you think your father did the best he could because of, they had, say, 5 siblings? And she said, I never thought of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And they worked through it on stage. And then she had him call him and she apologized. She was the one that apologized,
Wow.
you know.
Mm.
And when you look at it, did my dad do the best he knew how? Yes.
Yeah.
But I can see now the fear. Now that I've been a life coach and I've done the hard work, I can see where he held fear inside of him of so much because he didn't have a father figure to raise him. It was just him and his mother.
Yep. Yeah.
And, and people can say, well, that's an excuse. Well, no, it's not. He didn't have what he needed. And it carried through from generation to generation like it does.
Doing the best with what you got. It's what parent, on average here, what parent wouldn't want the best for their kid?
Good. Right.
It's
Yeah.
no, you're doing with what the best you got with what you have or what you were taught.
And you just hope you do a little bit better than the last generation.
Right.
And you hope you've learned it. And that's the key.
If
Um,
I could go back and maybe you would think the same thing. And everything's a lesson, so don't want to look back in a negative way. But if I knew then what I knew now or know now in terms of energy, in terms of how you treat your children and how it's going to impact them later in life, even like, even joking around,
yep.
you say little silly things and, what are you wearing? What's that on your head? Like you're just having fun. Or maybe it's
Yep.
a running joke for a month or whatever. It's just a silly kind of thing that goes on, but it could impact them in a negative way if you're not thinking that way.
And if you don't know the person's story, that's you don't know what your words are doing to people because an example, and I'm not going to use any names, but you take somebody that was either taken advantage of or raped when they were a kid, and that they lost their virginity at an early age, and then you're out drinking one night with a bunch of people, and you say, "Ha, so and so lost their virginity before I did," and it brings back that trauma.
Yeah.
You don't know. So what you thought was funny in a moment of drunkenness wasn't, and we've all been there.
Yeah.
Where we don't know that our words are hurting us.
And many times it's not meant to hurt when somebody's,
Right.
not about something because they don't, like you said, don't know the
They
backstory.
don't know. Yeah.
And even as a parent to a child, even a young child, a 7-year-old, 8, whatever, just goofing around and having fun sometimes, it could get stuck in their head about their self-esteem. Little things like,
Yeah. Yes. Self-esteem is huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
And starts, like you said, as a kid in your schools. I was online on Facebook with a group that's, we're in this school group from high school. And, we were all talking. I said, I got a home ec degree. And somebody said, why did you get that? I said, because that's all they told me I was worth. And another girl said, why don't we just get rid of the elephant in the room? And our teachers didn't care about us. And, she was brave enough to say it, but that was 50 years ago. Things have changed.
Yes.
They've gotten better.
And let's be honest, when you were going to school, there might have been some teachers and there's so many great teachers. There might have been a few that weren't in your mind as you grew up, very supportive. Then there were others who were just amazing.
Yep.
But I never forgot any of them.
Yeah.
I remember mostly every situation, right down to I loved art, cartooning, graphics, all of that. And I was painting something, it's 11th grade, and Ms. Meyer was my art teacher. And yeah, nice lady. And I'm painting a fall scene of a barn where the grass leads you to the barn. And I was having trouble painting the sky. I was getting frustrated. It wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to. And she came over and she helps a little bit. And she said to me, "You know what you are? You're an underachiever." And I was like, I never forgot that. And it kind of motivated, even I never forgot her coffee breath either. It even to move forward and push a little harder, but I never forgot it. So it
Yeah.
might have been a negative comment, but I'm hoping, I use it as a positive comment, you know,
Yeah.
that to really just, kind of push a little bit harder. You can paint that sky. You could do that. And we all can do that. We can all do things if we just,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And that's it. Get up and be productive.
Okay.
Every one of us has a gift. You just have to want it. You've got to want to get up and get it. And my life coach speaks that into me every time we meet, because sometimes I can get held back by things. When we live alone and, you don't have all those people you can go talk to, you can stay in an emotion, you know, until someone hears you. And then, like you said, the life coach can say, "Oh, yeah, let's do this. How can you do that?" And
And what you
um,
just said, that's the other benefit of a life coach in that finding your life purpose. So you just
yes,
wake up every day. I'm going to attack life. I'm like, this is great. You need to find what it is. Sometimes we don't know, and that we need
yeah,
somebody to take a look at it, all the pieces on the table, all of our desires, our things that we like doing, and find out what that life purpose is. And you could be doing it in your job, but you haven't nailed it exactly. It could be,
yeah,
a little twist. It doesn't have to be reinvent the wheel. I'm gonna just get a totally new job. I'm gonna risk everything and just go for it. I'm not saying that's bad, but
right,
I
yeah.
get
And people do it different ways all the time.
sure.
And that's the beautiful thing is that it's your truth.
Yep.
Okay, you carry that truth inside of you, whether it's negative or good. Okay, if you tell yourself you're a bad person, you're going to do things that don't show up to be positive. But if you can break through that, and I speak from experience, if you can break through that negativity without getting disease and illness or turning to drugs and alcohol, you will become you will love yourself, because
Mm,
you're already a phenomenal person.
yep.
You just have to see that inwardness. You got to shift that energy from I can't, I won't, I don't know how, to I'm worthy, I am a good person, I can do this, you know, and then it becomes your story, you know.
When you think back to the aha moment for you, when you got that sense of you, that yeah, I'm grateful for me. What did it feel like?
Oh, it was the most beautiful feeling in the world. Like I had the most peace,
Mm,
and joy. That shift of energy was like, wow.
mm,
And for me, I'm blessed because my shifts are subtle. Okay. I don't have to drop on the ground crying. I don't have to vomit anything up. They're just extremely subtle shifts. So what I mean by that is like I could never forgive myself. And I was standing in the kitchen with a friend of mine, and she says, I was burdened by sin. Okay, this was when I first come into Christianity and going back to church and stuff. She goes, Patty, a sin's a sin. It doesn't matter if you murder somebody or you stole something. And something in my brain went, oh, I'm forgiven. Boom. And my whole life shifted. Like all that burdensome left me
hmm. Wow.
just by her speaking those words to me. So it can be anything. It can be anything that somebody says to you. And then I had another shift just in November at a deliverance conference. We were worshiping. Somebody took a picture of us. They sent it to me. I opened up the camera and I looked and I went, wow, you're beautiful. I saw myself inside for the first time.
Mm, wow.
And now that I've seen that, I'm like, wow. because that inner beauty is so much more beautiful than any outer beauty, than the glasses, the hair, the clothes, the weight.
Yep.
You don't worry about that stuff anymore because you see your soul in your spirit. You see who you are. And when you can walk in that,
I get what you're saying.
you know,
Yeah, I was bullied, the fat kid, really pretty bad when I was younger.
yeah,
Uh, didn't have the support I needed from parents and things like that. And so now I'm, finally getting the getaway. I'm going away in a couple of weeks. And it's like, well, I gotta see if I find a bathing suit that fits. And I'm like, yeah, a little pudgy there. And like, and I thought to myself today, I'm like, who cares? I don't care. Yeah. And it wasn't too long ago. I'm at the gym and I used to like focus on, I got a zit here, got this, got that, and I looked at a full mirror view and I said to myself, don't look at these little things. Look at the whole thing here. And I was like,
yes,
it's okay. It's all right. I never looked at it in that way in a mirror, especially in a public place. Not like I was
yeah,
staring at myself, but I just looked up for it
right,
and just
yeah,
took it all in. I was like, you know what? We're all beautiful. Don't focus on the one thing that you look at, every morning in the mirror. You're close to the mirror and you see, I get that right there. I got one of those over there. I get that taken care of over there. Look at the whole, inside and out, and you've got,
yes,
you know, perfection, wonderful things,
yeah,
capable of just about anything.
yeah. Because when you can love you, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful thing when you love you
I
and
call it quiet calm.
huh?
Quiet calm. Like
Quiet calm. Yeah,
you just have this
yeah,
feeling like, all right, everything's good. It's not. I think we're afraid to do it because we don't want to be perceived to have an ego. Well, look at him. Yeah, wow. No, it's just like you're okay. I'm okay. Fantastic.
yeah. But your ego doesn't show when you have peaceful calm.
Correct. Yeah, it's
You
all.
know, there's the people that walk around like this. This is their ego. I'm tough. I work out at the gym. I got it all together. And deep down inside, they don't.
No, and they don't. You're
They
100.
don't. That's why they're doing that.
Yes, to
You
make up
know,
for it. And we
yeah,
understand it, and we don't fault them for it. It's just another, you know, uh, a defense mechanism, whatever it might be. But everything we're talking about are things that we don't realize until we talk to somebody like you, because
correct.
what you just said before was, my light bulb went off. We think about it takes time to heal, and we know it does, but sometimes it can be the one thing that somebody says, like your friend in the kitchen.
Boom.
Wow. And it can be a game changer, a life changer.
It could be a huge life changer.
Yeah.
And if anybody out there wants a good book study to do that can really shift their life and let them discover who they are, this Henry Cloud's Changes That Heal. He is a psychologist, clinical psychologist, and I recommend getting both books. The workbook is phenomenal to write in, but it will help you discover yourself,
Wow.
your distorted thinking, your past trauma, wounds, injuries, your defense mechanisms. How do you react to things, to protect yourself?
It's funny. I always say, we're just about out of time here. We're actually over time. I always say to myself that everything is work. So, and you just
Yes,
said, and healing, that's a work book. But you
yes.
opened my eyes again today, Patty. The fact that yes, it's work, but sometimes there can be quick changes in what your friend said to you, and just refocused your mind for a moment, and allowed you to see it from a different view.
It's shifting that energy.
And yeah, you
Yeah,
should.
you
Your friend
shift it.
helped you with that.
Yep. Yeah.
What's your website?
www.thehydratedlife.net.
Hydratedlife.net.
And they can
Fantastic.
set up a clarity call, see if
Sure.
we're a good fit, and
Yeah. And it's like anything. It's a relationship. You got to see if it's a good fit, and then if it is, you walk the journey with them, and
when they're ready to make the change, they will. Nothing will stand in the way. No money will stand in the way. They'll find it, whatever they want to do. you know.
Yeah. And
That's
some of us took that money and spent it on things that were not positive change, so maybe it's time to go the other way now.
exactly. Yeah, I threw it over the bar for years.
Yeah.
And there's no price tag on your health. Do I have time for a quick story?
Honestly and truly.
Okay.
You're going to cut us off, unfortunately. Okay. And maybe we'll pick up from there next time. I would love to. Love to. Okay. Even if I could squeeze another minute, I would, but it's we're over. Okay. Yeah, fantastic, Patti. Thanks for the shift in my energy in terms of viewing things and how change can come quick. Not always, but it can. It's possible.
Yeah. Yeah, go have fun on your trip. Don't worry about anything you're wearing or what you're doing. Just go enjoy it and celebrate with the people that you're around.
And I just have to fit in the bathing suit. And if I don't, whatever, I'll buy another one.
Exactly. What's another $20, right?
Whatever. All right, Patti, we'll talk soon. Thank you so much.
All right. See you next week. Bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.